clock is kicking down for Hilltop as Alpha prepares to unleash the Horde. Thankfully, my man Daryl is a quick heal. And Eugene's got a date. Assuming, of course, they survive the night. It's The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 11, Morning Star. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of The Walking Dead. So, of course, spoilers coming your way. And I do want to remind you, our quick jump index system, right in the description below. This entire review is broken down, titleized, time-stamped. You can jump to the end of the review first. You can watch the beginning last. You can watch this review in any order you would like. All right, so Morning Star, a little mixed bag for me this episode. I mean, mostly it was good. I was actually kind of excited as the episode started out. Great opening scene, I have to say. I love just all of the whispers coming together and the chanting and Beta leaving them and then Alpha coming in and they're doing all their whisper chants. We are at the end of the world. I mean, it was cool. It was creepy. It was en masse. You know, we're seeing steps have been made. Preparations are moving. The Horde is coming. So there was a sense of timely foreboding. And it seemed really quick that we were going to get into a big battle situation. Was expecting Hilltop to be overrun kind of at any moment. Unfortunately, the episode did as most of these often tend to do, as you know, the conversations beforehand. You know, all the little connections, the reconnections that people are waiting for as intending doom is about to become. And then, you know, honestly, there was a lot of really good stuff. There was really some nice character stuff, great interactions, great sort of sorting things out, which I really enjoyed. But as time went on, it was feeling more and more like they're going to wait until the very end. It's going to be a cliffhanger, then there's going to be attack. And at least we got some of the attack underway. But that was some of the points where it also sort of started falling apart for me, just from a living in the world standpoint of where Hilltop should be at this moment. So some great scenes and then some really annoying bits as well. So like I said, kind of a mixed bag for me. And I think that's sort of how I'll break this review down. I think I'm just going to talk about some of the bad stuff, some of the good stuff. We'll do the scene of the week, and then quick jumps in on the on Eugene's bit and then the battle at the end, because I will want to take a moment just to sort of focus on that. But otherwise, I'm going to try and keep this going on and get this moving fast, but I mean, you guys watch the reviews, right? You know how much I like to talk. Alright, so the stuff I liked in this episode, like I said, the opening scene, that opening sequence, as they're establishing the Horde and the Whispers coming together and ready to embark on the assault on Hilltop. I loved how that felt. Really, the whole chanting and all that really kind of got me in, got me ready, got me pumped for the episode to come up. And there were some really good character bits here. Like I said, it was becoming a bit of the, night before we die last moments. But I think they took some important moments. I loved Ezekiel and Carol kind of coming back to Daryl. That Carol's hiding out at Daryl's old camp and Ezekiel goes to look for and is just patient. You don't want to talk, then I will just sit here until you're ready to come with. And just, showing that time that they had spent together, that there is a dialogue, there is a way the two of them are able to talk. And then later on, as Ezekiel's ready to put on his armor, and she kind of comes in and has that real moment, which I thought was really sweet. Seeing the big goiter and growth on his neck and not letting him feel self-conscious about it. And that they did have sort of a kiss and final moment. I like that they even joke about, Ezekiel saying, it's glad that we did this before we die. And Carol's like, what? Wait, we're supposed to die tonight? I mean, again, it's kind of fun to keep it lighthearted, but it did have that feel of like, this is the end. This is a final connection, whatever is going to happen next, whether they die in the battle or it's just he can move on with, I mean, how are you going to deal with cancer in the apocalypse, that much. It was just sort of a nice moment for them to sort of come back together and hash that out. And actually, continuing with Ezekiel, really nice scene with Daryl and Ezekiel. A quick little moment with Daryl just acknowledging, hey man, I know we don't really talk, we're not really the thing, but that doesn't mean that I don't feel for you or believe or you do a lot of great work, and there are people around here that are glad that you're fighting and probably wouldn't have been here if you didn't do the things that they do. So it was a really nice moment that obviously these are two characters, because of the love triangle sort of with Carol, aren't the bestest of buddies, but there's still an acknowledgement to it. And even coming down to, okay, well, it's you and me watching the kids, so if one of us goes down, it's the other one's job to take them out. It was just, from a leadership standpoint of warriors and fighters, it was really nice. And I always loved that there was an additional drama to it. Carol's scene with Lydia, I also really liked it. In fact, to me, that is how Carol should have been reacting to all of this. The overly emotional, panicky Carol doesn't make sense to me for the arc that she has been in. But the one who is reserved, pulled back, psychotic, possibly in thinking, I'm going to kill, I'm going to, that type of focused stuff, but not overly emotional and messy. I think that, to me, there was so much more tension there, and I love just the two kind of dynamic between the two of them, of just accepting who they are, what the feelings are. It's not personal between them, it's the world, and the world sucks, and these are the way that things sort of have to go, but also don't get in my way. It was just, it was a very cool interaction of sort of, to me, hashing things out the way that people that are probably never going to be friends can sort of hash stuff out. And I really kind of like that. So yeah, I mean, there was, like I said, there was some great character stuff. Okay, I guess I gotta say it, the Judith Daryl little discussion, that was kind of cute. It was kind of nice. Judith really feels like she's just being dragged from one danger zone to the other. I mean, they just got to Hilltop earlier this morning. There's already going to be an attack. Why wasn't she dropped off in Alexandria? I don't know what the map directions on who's closer to who from Oceanside to Hilltop and Alexandria, and even the Whispers camp. So I don't know how that triangulates. And it's actually probably we don't know. There'd probably a lot of stuff wouldn't make sense if we did. But that was the only kind of one thing. I mean, even RJ with him. God, RJ was with him. RJ is with him, right? Because they kept talking about RJ. That he was left in Alexandria. But again, it just, I guess because it feels like they're being dragged around from one danger zone to another to have the tension, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why they were there. But it was nice that Judith made another little wing for Daryl's vest and everything. And I did kind of like the fact that she could be, talking about fear. And it's like, well, you could be scared for the other people, that the people you care about are going to be hurt, and so on and so forth. So that was kind of a nice, it didn't annoy me, as some of the Judith scenes sort of do. But again, it felt utilitarian. But as I said, I think it was handled all very nicely. And I think all of these little character bits worked out really well. I mean, especially if let's take a moment and talk a little bit about Eugene. Alright, so Eugene and Stephanie, their relationship is developing. And again, kind of fun. I like the episode because I like the fact that we get this storyline moving forward. I like that we go from, obviously, they've been talking, they've developed a relationship with us, Rosita do it. You like this girl, you like her so much, you've allowed the place to turn into a dump. Nice little descriptor there. And again, great little characters. This is how people know each other kind of dialogue. So I like that. So of course they're establishing the great conversations and how close, and the satellite coming in and how they can both see at the same time of night. So I mean, I like how they work the storyline. The only kind of frustrating part is just because the requisite, of course, somebody's going to find them out, and so they might be split up. Scene, which we've been waiting for from the very beginning, of course, happened here. all right, they've been talking for a while. I guess I can buy Eugene forgetting, leaving the radio on, stepping away. We all make mistakes, especially, once time goes on, we get a little bit lazy. Though the fact that they've been able to keep that secret back and forth, I liked as well. So Rosita coming in and sort of messing things up and creating the complication, especially since Eugene does seem to really like Stephanie, and they have finally made that, we're close, this is where I am. Look, let's set up a meeting place and you check me out, and you know, if you don't like what you see, you can stay in. All of that was really good. But yeah, just we knew the split up was going to happen. So I guess in some sense, because it was so expected, the drama added to it was a little bit annoying. But we got some interesting stuff with Rosita. And I have to say, Rosita goes out when Eugene's working on the batteries and has that whole conversation. It's like, you like this girl and so on. It was kind of this cool, supportive friend thing. And then when she turned it around, was like, do you want to kiss me? Come on and kiss me. Do it before you forget. I have to say, I caught up. I was like, where is this scene going? This is getting really weird. But they played it really nice. And I gotta say, thinking back on it, I kind of like the choices because Eugene has had this thing for Rosita for so long. But he likes this girl, so she opens up the door. If he likes this other girl, really, he's not going to want to kiss her. And she can see that, so it gives the opportunity for Eugene to realize it himself. And that was really cool. So later on, when he does connect with Stephanie and she's mentioning Rosita, he's like, yeah, you could call her that she is most definitely my BFF, Not girlfriend, he's straight deciding this it is, but the joy that he had in his voice that she could hear over the radio, it's a great acknowledgement that you can have those relationships. They don't have a sexual base, that you can have the male-female BFFs. And I know we got that with Daryl and Carol, and sometimes want them together, sometimes I'm glad they're apart. For Rosita and Eugene, though, it feels like a very natural a point of change there. So that was really cool. Only downside, of course, is we did get the whole Eugene singing thing. And look, you guys know how I am with singing. This ridiculous, let's throw an emotional moment of singing to bond everyone together and tie in that emotional oomph before tragedy falls. It's just, God, it feels so formulaic. Also, I don't really know the song, so I could get into it or anything like that. Eugene's got a great voice, but please, no more of these singing moments. I beg of you. Alright, so we're about to transition from the good parts to the kind of bad parts, so it seems a very appropriate time for her to throw in our Saint of the Week for this week. And it's a tiny thing. It's a small, but it's a moment. Really. But I really liked it. And that's the rats running out of the forest. Where you got Nico and Kelly and everybody there, they're together and they're having those moments. They're getting the outside preparations and spike poles and all that set up. And they just hear the squeak and the turn and this army of rats running out. Usually you see that in front of like forest fires. And I think there was even a moment I might have thought of like, did they set the forest on fire? Because, that doesn't bother walkers. Flaming walkers, even more effective. But no, just the idea that the Horde is coming and they are so terrifying that all of the woodland creatures are fleeing and all of the rats are running. It was just a great moment because it's terrifying and then there's a realization and then Butchess is quickly screamed out, they're here, they're coming. It was just a perfect way to set up the Horde is about to arrive. I mean, again, I liked it. It was a simple thing and something that we don't really see. And I think that's why I liked it. Fortunately, it seemed to be quite some time and distance between the rats and the Horde. So, yeah, this is where we get into some of the stuff that didn't work for me. And we'll just say part of it is the whole passage of time thing. Like I said, as the episode started off, and the impression of fear when Kelly Lydia and Daryl arrive, and they're like, they're coming, my mom's coming, there's no time to go. There's this fear of this is about to happen. The episode opens up with the Horde sort of coming in on their way. So the fact that things get sort of stretched out was already a little frustrating to me. I mean, like I said, some of the best stuff were these great character moments. On the other hand, I'm glad they had all this time in order to have these great character moments. And especially towards the end, we got that big jump because, look, once the rats came out, it wasn't really too long episode-wise. I mean, it was right before a commercial break. So we get the break, and then we get the Eugene singing bit, which is sort of everybody setting up, and then we get Daryl's last little couple of scenes and outside, and here it's all light, it's all daytime. Now when we do have Daryl's scene outside in front of the grave markers of what I can only assume are Glenn and everybody else that has passed away here, which again, nice, great, powerful scene of stuff going on with Daryl. That was nice. I like that. But it was still light outside. It was a little darker. They did change the lighting on that moment. But he literally says to Carol, like, I'm never going to hate you. And walks out, and the next thing he's grabbing the Morning Star, and it's pitch black. It's not dusk. It's like midnight. There's fog out. It's super dark. Now, of course, this makes sense. Fire's going to look great in the dark. I get why they do the battle scene sort of at night. But transition the daylight a little bit earlier. And also, you have the water, because the rats are coming out, it's like, it's impending, so that the day finishes up, it becomes night, and then it gets really, really dark. There's a lot of time that has passed in between the rats and the Horde showing up. So it sort of lost its strength on that. The other thing that was really annoying, and I love Daryl, we all love Daryl, but how the hell is Daryl walking? Last episode, he was at death's door. Lydia had to drag him out. Daryl, blood spurting out of his leg as he pulled up. I mean, surgery he's gonna need. And yet, he shows up at this beginning of the episode. They're on their way, jumping off his motorcycle. Where did he get his motorcycle? Where did that come from? I thought that was left back before they went out for this whole journey to look for the Horde. So, was that in Alexandria? Or no, I don't think that was. Anyway, poor Pete, what was it doing out there? Where did it come from? That became the frustrating point. It's just, again, I love Daryl, but him walking around, even at the end, sure, they give him a little limp, but seriously, man, you were like at death's door. You should not be fighting and riding your motorcycle and leading groups off to Oceanside, which is another thing. I think that was a wasted reveal for Negan. How did he guess that? I mean, look, okay, the road's marked off and there's some walkers hung up. Yes, Negan did that, the Saviors did that 6 years ago. He's been in jail for a while. I'm sure they've met other things. I'm sure other walkers. I mean, Negan leaves an impression, so I could imagine that being sort of fresh in his head. But to me, it was just kind of a waste, just looking up and just like, it's Negan. He's with them now. That could have been such a more powerful reveal. It seems like a wasted move right there. And also the idea that all the roads and all the pathways have now been blocked up. Again, group arrived this morning. So if they're all set up, why do they take so long for the Horde to come? Again, this is where the time issue comes in. And I'm with the episode for a lot, but when they do things like this, it yanks me out of the reality of the world, and that's why it gets really frustrating with me. Daryl shouldn't be around. I don't know where his motorcycle came in. You can't tell me that all the roads around Hillside have been blocked up. They can go through a frickin' forest. I mean, they're all on horses and shit right now. Yeah, I know the kids are in the cart, but still, not all of that works. in these days. So again, it's just little things like that just kept sort of pulling me out of these moments, and I think it just led to a frustration, which is why I couldn't get totally behind this episode. Okay, and real quick, the battle. It shouldn't take that long to talk about because it was only 7 minutes, no, 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes in the episode by the time it all came out. So, I don't know, I don't want to talk longer than the fight actually occurred. Okay, the sap gathering in the beginning, that was kind of cool. I'm assuming those are skin sacks from dead walkers and things. I'm just going to guess. I kind of like that idea. The fact that the Whisperers have a better idea on siege tactics than Hilltop, kind of interesting. I would have thought Hilltop might be a little bit more prepared. And that's what the total frustration for this scene kind of came from. I've said it many times before. These people should be prepared more. They've been facing off with the Whisperers. People had died. I mean, we get a whole scene with Alden about Adam, the little nephew, and so on, and Earl, and Gavin, and Mary coming to see, and all these, a lot of anger. Oh, we spent so much time raising this baby. We keep implying time has passed. Why do you have no defenses out? There's no, even when you know the walkers come, there's no pits. You've got some little spike things. There's a few kind of ideas, but no larger pre-stuff. I think that they should be a little more prepared in the walker apocalypse dealing with masses of walkers. You even know about herds and things like that. So, again, really that got first. The wire cable, electrified cable thing, that was kind of cool. I got to admit it. Big waste of energy, though. I mean, again, you get 1 or 2 walkers there, then the rest of them, you get height problems. Where's the head? And the bodies are leaning up against it. Would have been better to do that, like, I don't know, shin level. Take out feet. I mean, eventually you'd get enough people, the walkers at least have to crawl, slow them down. I mean, yeah, eventually you'd have enough that would fall and there would be a pile over the wire and they could just walk over that or whatever. So, I mean, again, any of these are sort of short term. But I think maybe more effective than the one kind of at neck level there. Maybe do a couple. But, I mean, spiked pits. I know there's time situations, but I don't know. I really think the defenses on Hilltop were very sad. I mean, and they do talk about their inability, their lack of manpower, and they've only got some of this equipment. I'd like them using the whole Spartan shield idea. That was cool. But even then, just not totally effective. You don't need all of those shields when you have your barricade right there. Have the people at the barricade first. That's what spears are for. Through the barricade. Morning stars, they have limited reach. You should have spear people at front. The arrows, those are only short term. You can't do mass shots into hordes of walkers because anything less than a brain shot is ineffective for them. You're just wasting arrows with all the body shots you're going to get. So, I just think that Hilltop should have been better prepared. Now, when we get the whole pressing up against the blockade there, and they're stabbing and morning starring and doing all the cools, and then the Whisperers release. I love the giant slingshots they got. They're prepared, but that's okay. Elastic can last. Rubber tree? I don't know. We won't get into it. But yeah, hurling the sap and using that to douse everyone and set up a flame. That was cool. Looked very liquidy for sap. I don't think you could water that down and still keep the flammability aspect of it. So that was a little much. And it seemed like a whole lot. They were splashing all over the place. It was a little ridiculous. But still was like, oh, they're going to shoot the arrows. Because again, flames don't bother walkers. Set everyone on fire, flaming walkers coming at them. That'll be great. And they sort of half did that. They set up a distance. And it was a great shot because you see the flaming arrow come in and then a guy screaming, ah! But of course all the heroes, all the stuff they're covered with, the flames never come their way. They stay safe. Just don't have them get tossed. Have other ones because now again, you're pulling me out because I'm like, why are these people not on fire? Then, of course, they get the back sort of cut off from them, which again, I don't know if we just had more stuff hurled in that way and then more arrows coming in, so they cut off the retreat. So again, Whisper's got some good siege tactics going on here. Hilltop, not quite so much. So they leave it. This is the really sad, but this is the most frustrating part, I think, because they leave it with the big flaming. They're cut off. Daryl's there, flames behind. Oh my God, is Hilltop going to be burned to the ground? They're going to be set on fire. They're going to be overrun with rockers. I mean, yeah, we know there's hero characters. They're not going to die, but still, elements of danger. So after the episode, when you say next week on The Walking Dead and you show all these characters running around the next day, you have just undone all of the danger and anticipation that you set up with your cliffhanger. So maybe marketing needs to tap with creativity, because don't leave up a big stressful cliffhanger and the next week's previews you undo all of that tension. It's a waste. Alright, just a couple of small things here. One, Negan. Just a couple of scenes with him, but I think we do establish at this point strongly that Negan really isn't on board with all of the Whisperer's ideas. He's not into the killing thing anymore, because he does come up, he advocates for mercy. Hey, I know killing them would be great, and it feels good. Some people deserve killing. But you know what's even better? Making people bend the knee to you. Not killing them. Hey, how about that for an idea? So to me, that is the giveaway that Negan has changed. And I know we have the reveal for Negan in this as well, and that maybe that's to kind of counter that idea that we as an audience might have. But no. To me, this is just going to lead to a real frustrating point where Negan has to, again, convince people that, no, he's fighting for them. But I like the moments that they lay out here. And the fact when Alpha turns it around and he's like, I thought we were going to make them let them join us. They will join us as the Horde. All right, Alpha, that is a nice move. And of course, Negan's going to go with that. He's not going to give up his position. He knows he's better, closer, advocating. Though it could have been a moment to just stab her in the head and that. No, then we had Beta. And you just got to be more of a complex thing. I think Negan's thinking bigger picture here. I didn't mention it before, but I did like the discussion that the Hilltop community had about, should we run or should we stay? Should we fight or should we escape? Should we leave Hilltop or should we find another community? It wasn't a long thing, but I did like the discussion that we sort of handled out, in kind of defense of why are we here and why should we run? Of course, once they find out that there's nowhere else to go, Earl does make an interesting comment about there's catapults on the wall. We'll do what we can to fight and we'll get everything together. Cool. We don't see the catapults anymore. Wouldn't that be one of the first things? That's a distance weapon. That's not an up-close weapon. I'm just saying, if you're going to bring up the weapon, you should use the weapon. That's all. All right, and this week's fan question comes from Jerry Jansky, who found the channel from our Mr. Robot reviews. I missed that show. But who was asking basically the shows that I'm watching. What is going on right now? Actually, the big long discussion, a lot of shows ideas. The Dispatches from Elsewhere, which is following Walking Dead right now. I was about to say Grateful Dead. Was one that he had brought up. Briar Patch. I actually have not watched Dispatches from Elsewhere yet. It has been popping up in my queue, but I haven't had a chance to catch anything. Briar Patch, I've also been recording. I haven't had a chance to get to. To be honest, I haven't had a lot of time lately. It's one of the reasons I'm only doing a small handful of reviews. When I started this, I had a lot more free time. Unfortunately, getting older and multiple projects, it tends to steal time away. But of the stuff that I'm watching but not doing reviews of, a lot of it's cheesy. I like Survivor, I really enjoy Ancient Aliens. I mean, those are shows you can really review or talk about, but they're fun. I did, of course, get through all of The Expanse. Was really excited to see that. I watched Lost in Space on Netflix, which, again, cheesy. but kind of fun. Altered Carbon, I was really excited to start out because I love Anthony Mackie. The first season was more engaging than I thought it was going to be, so I was kind of looking forward to this. And the guy playing Poe, he's back. That's very cool. I haven't gotten past the first episode because I'd forgotten how cheesy it is. It's just, a lot of the dialogue seems like it's written by someone who wants to write how he thinks tough people talk. But not really. That's not really how they talk. It has that sort of manufactured feel to it. So I haven't really dived in a little bit more on that. So, and then of course what I'm really waiting for is Westworld, which is starting up next week. So I think I left a few more responses down before. Fargo is another one, Noah Hawley's other series. I think we're getting a season 4 coming up soon. I am really looking forward to that. So yeah, I mean, there are good shows out there. It just seems like you got to do a little hunt for them now. And I mean, we can all only afford so many streaming services. So yeah, kind of in between stuff. Watching some cheese. Watching just some goofy, fun stuff when I've got a moment. It's easy to watch with the family. But the heavier stuff, not a whole lot lately. But there is a lot building up in my queue, too. Alright, so, see? I said I'm going to try and do this nice and quick, and yet now a half hour later, I think it's time that I go ahead and wrap things up. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me with these reviews. As always, let me know what you guys are thinking. First off, hit that like button. Always appreciate that. But give me your thoughts. Give me your comments. Throw them down in the section below. What did you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Were you frustrated for it? Is Daryl an amazing healer? Is it just me? And do you know where the motorcycle was? I may have to go back and rewatch some old episodes to try and track that down. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Throw those down in the section. Also, any fan questions, be sure to throw those down too. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe. Come on, this is so much fun, right? You don't want to miss any future reviews. Plus, like I said, next week we have Westworld starting out, Season 3, and then we've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. definitely coming up with its final season this summer. Don't miss any of those reviews. If you're a subscriber, do that by clicking this button right here. And we'll go up and throw a few of our latest reviews right here for you to check out. So, that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.